let's, okay, so let's focus on doing some basic edits on a PDF using Adobe Acrobat. So I'm just going to open up a new file to edit. I'm just going to drag this one in to edit it. And as soon as I click on all tools, I want to go now to edit a PDF. And as soon as I click edit a PDF, it does scan my document so it can recognize the text within my document. And once it's done that, you're going to see these subtle lines are showing all the text boxes that it recognized in my document. Now, I can just now click within a text box and I can delete text that's here and I can retype text that I want. And if you're typing within these text boxes, it's going to maintain the formatting of the text within the text boxes. So regardless of which text box you click in, it's going to keep that text the same when you retype it. So this is the quickest, easiest way to make some quick text changes within a PDF file. One thing I do want to draw your attention to is it doesn't always do the greatest job recognizing text boxes. For instance, right here, it took this text and it put it into two separate text boxes. So if I was to click here at the end of the word writing and I was to continue typing, it is not flowing into the next text box because it's got it as a separate text box. So one thing that I could do there is I could just highlight all this text if I wanted to. And you can do that by clicking and dragging, or you can like triple click and that'll highlight your entire text box. And I'm going to cut that text and I'm going to come into this text box now and just paste it at the beginning of it. So now all the text is in the correct text box. Now I did notice that that messed up the text ahead on the top. So sometimes you might want to move your text boxes around before you do that. You'll also notice that it's a little quirky here too because it took this image and it put it within the text box. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of deleting and a little work to get rid of this image now and the text that's part of it. And so I'm going to have to play around with this. So it's a little quirky. Not everything is going to flow like it does in a Microsoft Word document or a Google Doc when you're editing. And so there is going to be some quirks and a little bit of patience involved when you're editing some of your text here in Adobe. A couple of other things I want to draw your attention to is that you can add additional content into your Adobe Pages. So for instance, when you're in Edit a PDF on this menu, you can come over here and you can add new text boxes or lots of different items into your page. Let's start with a text box. And when I add a text box, it's using the information at the very top of Edit a Text menu in terms of this is the font that it's going to use. It's going to use a size 12 in the style. So if I just click in the document and I just start typing, it's using that font. Okay, now I can highlight this and I can change the font if I want to something different. I'll say Broadway. And I could also change the size of my font, can make it bigger or smaller. And I could change the color of my font here. Maybe I'll make it blue. Okay, and so you do have options to adding new text boxes and formatting them within your document as well. Other things that you can add is I could actually add an image into my text box, into my document. Let's see if I have a decent image here to use. We'll go to the desktop and all right, well, we'll see what this one is. Okay, so it put this picture into my document. I can actually delete it. You can resize your image. You can move it around. So you can add these items to your files as well. You can also add like a header or a footer. Now, why would I want that? Maybe I want to add page numbers. This is where you would do that. So I'm going to click on Add. And it looks a little intimidating, but what it's showing you is this is the top of your document, this is the very bottom of your document. And your headers is separated into three different sections: left, center, right. Same with the footer. So let's say I want my page numbers in the bottom right of the screen. I would just click here and say insert page number, and it adds it right here, and you can see it put the page number there. If I wanted to say the word page, I could type that in the footer and put a space. And now it says page one, and that will continue throughout the document. If I say OK, it's just going to save that, and now I have the page numbers. And as if I add new files, which I hadn't even shown you how to do this yet, but if I add a new file, I'll just add a new page in. I'll just add that to my file. And that's going to have a page number as well. Okay, so let's go back. What are some other things that you can add here? You can make the entire document a link, but you can also make specific text a link. So if I was to right click on my text, I can say create a link here. So if you want just this text to be a link, this is how you would do it. If you want the entire document to have a link in it, then you would do it over on the left hand side under the edit and add content section. Some other items you notice are multimedia files like video, sound, 3D media. You can technically attach multimedia into your PDF files, like technically a video could play within the file. Now, I honestly don't highly recommend this because it can be very quirky, especially depending on the settings that the end user has on their device. It may not always play. So I'm not really going to cover that here, but if you are interested in trying to add multimedia into your documents, you certainly can take a look and try that as well. One tool you'll notice that we might use frequently is the drawing tool. So this is on the floating toolbar, and I don't even need to be in Edit a PDF to use it. I'm just going to click on it and hit Drawn. And now I can draw anywhere on this PDF that I want. So let's say I circled that. If I right click on this, I can go down to Properties, and I can make it thicker if I want to, make the pen in the drawing thicker, or I can make it thinner, or I could even change the color of it. If I wanted all of my future drawings to be this thickness, I would say make that the property default and go ahead and click OK. Now, another thing that you will be able to do is you would be able to, if you hit the select tool, you can select these items and you can move them around, or I could get rid of them by just hitting the trash can. So you can draw anything on here freehand. You can draw lines, arrows, and also other shapes as well. So another thing that you'll notice under the draw tool is that there are shapes that you can draw, and sometimes you can get creative with your editing here. So as an example, let's say I didn't want something to be on this page at all. Like I don't want this infused classroom at the bottom. And it's giving me a hard time selecting it, so I just want it gone. I can take this and just drag a rectangle with the same background color and this section and get rid of it. Okay, now if I come here and right click on it and I go to properties, I'm just changing the color so you can see that I have a box there. So this box is I mean, it can be moved, but it also is just covering, I'm using it to just cover up what I don't want. So let's say, for instance, now, like here at the bottom, I did want some text over here. Now I could add a new text box and I can move it onto to where on top of wherever you wanted it to be. One thing I do want to point out is it can be a little testy to move things around on the page. So you got to kind of be patient and play around with it. But when you click on something like this, okay, you want to make sure that you have your mouse this way and then you want to click and then drag. And if it won't do that, it means it's in the edit mode where it's trying to have you type in the box. So be patient with that.